Hey everyone, this is Hugo.
And this is Ashley Castillo. Welcome all to the Blueprint Podcast.
Today is Wednesday, January 17th, and this is our very first podcast episode. We are excited to launch this initiative, and we want to set the right expectations with all viewers who tune in each week. We want to introduce ourselves properly, so that way you can get a little bit of background from each of us.
First off, we know y'all need to know a little bit about us and who we are, because y'all need to want to listen to us. But with the Blueprint Podcast, we have a consumer-focused channel and an agent-focused channel. With our consumer-focused channel, we'll be discussing once a week, focusing on tools, expertise, helping people, whoever you are, if you're looking to get into real estate, from traditional purchasing to investment purchasing. We want to equip you with the tools and resources, everything that you need to know, the ins and outs of buying real estate. With our agent-focused podcast channel, we want to equip other realtors with all the tools and resources, knowledge, all the things that they need to know to run a successful business. Real estate, it's really difficult to jump into it, especially if you don't know somebody who's already doing it. We want to be that source for any and everybody. You don't need to know the neighbor next door who's a realtor. We'll be your next door neighbor realtor. And just jump onto our podcast and get to learn the ins and outs. We'll also have special guests from other real estate agents that would actually equally benefit. I feel both the clients and the agents can hear some success stories of other people being helped. As a realtor, you can hear not just success stories, lessons that they've learned. That's what we want to bring to you guys. Lessons, that way you can take the shortcut, whether you're buying real estate or you're looking to get into real estate.
Our goal is to deliver as much value to each of you as possible. Of course, it depends on your preference. If you're someone that has no interest at all in becoming a real estate agent, then of course you don't have to join the Thursday sessions. But if you are thinking about it, or you just want to get a sneak peek on how it feels and how it looks to operate as an agent, you can always join those sessions. And vice versa, if you're an agent currently and you're looking to get some ideas or some additional resources on how to manage and take care of your relationships when it comes to your sellers or your buyers, clients, then by all means, you can join those sessions on Tuesday as well.
We're excited for you guys to be joining us here at the Blueprint. A little bit about Hugo. Tell us a little bit about yourself so they know who they're listening to.
My name's Hugo. I've been with EXP Brokerage for a couple of years now, but simultaneously what I do, I'm a business consultant. Now, I'm a business consultant for a financial technology company that partners with Frost Bank. If you don't live in Texas, you probably don't know about Frost Bank, but it's one of the top leading financial institutions that's operated within Texas itself. So what that means is I work with different small to mid-sized businesses across the city, even across the country, to allow them to find different resources or solutions based on either their challenges that they have today or the needs that they have tomorrow. So it's a very fulfilling role for me because, of course, it allows me to help. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Whether you're in real estate or whatever it is that you do, I feel that the most successful people that I've met are the ones that really put their clients first. Now, I'm located here in San Antonio, Texas. I lived here for a few years. I'm originally from Chicago, but I moved down to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Metroplex. I was up there for about 20 years. And then I made my way down south. I'm trying to get away from that cold weather, but I'm still a Cowboys fan. So that's a little bit about myself. Oh, and I'm bilingual in Spanish.
Muy bien. Bienvenidos.
Now, Ashley, can you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself?
All right, so here's my presentation. Thank you, Hugo, for letting me share. So a little bit about me. I am a real estate agent, single mom, and entrepreneur. My background comes from doing tons of things. I love real estate. I've been a real estate agent for a little over 8 years now. I've built multiple masterminds to help moms. I really want to help those moms who are in the industry and also helping them buy homes. I have a background in tech as well. I started an international tech company and we built a bot for real estate agents, which was really fun. I've just been an entrepreneur at heart, marketer, love marketing, and my goal is to build a legacy. I want to build a legacy helping others who may not believe that they can do it or who come from a place where they were told, hey, you're not going to amount to anything really. And I want to show everybody that you can have success no matter where you come from, no matter who you are, no matter your circumstances. If you don't want to be a statistic, like I was scared I was going to just be this statistic Latina single mom and not accomplish anything when I was young, because I did start early, but it's because I had no direction. So I want to help bring direction. I want to help people, just as you said. It's all about giving and overflowing in whatever your knowledge is and whatever it is that you have. So whoever may not fit that traditional mold, that's who I want to talk to. I want to talk to you. We're here to bring this Blueprint podcast to you. I am also a real estate agent with eXp Realty. I provide coaching, mentorship, marketing resources. I'm here to help you guys. So I'm excited to be doing this podcast so that way we can start sharing the blueprint for success.
Awesome. Thank you, Ashley. And a little background with Ashley. Whenever I first joined eXp, eXp does a really great job in finding different successful realtors who have a wealth of knowledge to allow the newbies to join in and have a local resource. So eXp, they did that whenever I joined a few years back, and they aligned me with Ashley, who's local here in San Antonio. So she's been really helpful to help me kind of guide me through not just the transaction, but the cloud-based resources that we have available. If you are an agent, you know that when you switch from one brokerage to another, it's like starting over with so much when it comes to technology. But eXp, they provide not just live person, they also provide a lot of online resources where you can have quick access to different live brokers here in Texas that are aligned with eXp. So it's a great place, but we'll talk more on that in the next episode when it's more so focused on agents. Now, Ashley, can you continue with your introduction, and can you let us know a little bit about why real estate? You mentioned that you've been with real estate in itself for a number of years, but back in the day, if you can recall, you made a decision, a conscious one, to join real estate. Why real estate?
So the honest to God truth is I had to go a little crazy first to jump into real estate because, again, where I come from, it's you have to have a regular 9-to-5 job. You have to have benefits. You have to have that 401k. You have to, that's the check boxes that you have to check off. And especially if you have a family. So real estate, nobody in my family is an entrepreneur. Nobody in my family has ever been a realtor. And the way I got into real estate was I needed to be in business for myself and I needed to make a lot of money doing it. So I literally had a breakdown. And that's kind of what got me focused onto looking and researching what else can I get into. And I found real estate. I found real estate wholesaling initially, but I got into real estate because of the flexibility of having a family, flexibility of being able to be my own boss and still provide for them and still make a good income.
Awesome. That's quite a story. And
yeah, so why'd you get into real estate?
Well, there's a number of reasons why I got into real estate. Of course, as I mentioned, I already had a full-time job with Frost Bank, financial technology company. But if you've ever been in a situation where you just don't feel comfortable putting all your eggs in one basket and you want to diversify, so you're looking for some other revenue stream or stream of income, that's where it all started. I said, well, what can I do that I really can have a passion for that allows me to have these potential earnings that I would be happy with? And of course, the first thing that came to mind was real estate. There's a lot of other little side hustles that I thought about, but nothing was as impactful to me whenever I thought about the 5-year or 10-year plan that I have when it comes to additional revenue or potential earnings. equally important to me is that work-life balance. That work-life balance is really important because whether you have kids, you don't have kids, whether you are married, whether you're single, there always has to be a balance between your profession, your work, and everything else. So with real estate, as you can imagine, there's not necessarily someone that's micromanaging you each day. There's not a boss that's on your tail, making sure that you're clocking in, clocking out. Your success in real estate is directly aligned with your effort. So that's what I really was attracted to with that potential return on investment based on my investment in time and effort.
You get to be your own boss, your own entrepreneur, no one tells you what to do. But then if no one tells you what to do, and if you don't do anything, you don't make no money, right?
That is correct. So how do you think you would feel, Ashley, if someone was like, oh, you have to clock in at 9 o'clock and go do real estate for 8 hours and you can have a break sometime in between, but we're gonna manage that time really closely.
So never say never, but I will never clock in anywhere else again. That's all I'm saying. That's what drove me crazy in the first place. I don't do traffic because I like to drive when I drive, and just don't do traffic anymore. That was my biggest thing, driving to work super early in the morning, stuck in traffic, taking the kids to school, and then stuck in traffic on the way back. Everybody's trying to rush home, and I just had no social life. It's another thing I like about real estate, right, is the networking. I get to network with people, and it actually means something, not just hang out and do nothing blindly, or just hang out just to hang out and waste time. We get to hang out and actually network with each other because of real estate, and I get to learn, networking. I love to network.
So for the viewers that are not agents, and let's say that they don't really understand where you would go to find potential new clients, where do you typically network to meet new individuals?
Well, so even honestly, it's just with wherever and however you live your life, no pressure. For example, I volunteer coach my daughter's volleyball team, and I network with the parents. I get to meet with the parents. I am confident in networking with them because not only am I the coach, but I'm also a resource for them. If they have any questions, and I'll wear shirts like this, your Texas homegirl, and referrals on the back. So that way they ask me questions, and I'm not out there like, oh, hey, I sell real estate. Hey, I do this. It's just branding myself wherever I go and allowing people to ask me questions. And again, just being that source. So
the trust factor is there once you start networking with these folks.
Yep, exactly. It's, your neighbor across the street, telling your neighbor hello, wearing a shirt like this, or whatever it is. And that's how I get to meet my clients, off of referrals also.
What about agents that are looking necessarily to build relationships with other professionals? What have you done in the past?
So what I started doing when I first got started and I knew absolutely nobody, I looked up networking events. A lot of title companies host networking events. They'll host mixers. Mortgage lenders will host mixers. And it's just calling around and getting to know people who are already in the industry. They don't have to necessarily be a real estate agent. They can be, like I said, a lender, title company, inspectors hold mixers, and different brokers also hold mixers because they want to showcase who they are. They want to showcase that sense of community, and it's just not being scared and getting out there. I mean, people, when I first got started, would say, they would think like, why are you networking with other realtors? It's a waste of your time. Aren't you both trying to get that client? And it's like, no, I need to network with them. Guess what? That realtor may have a off-market property that may be good for one of my clients, or there's a multiple offer situation where that realtor, I already know that realtor, we kind of became friends. And if I have the same exact offer as somebody else in a multiple offer situation, the realtor is going to know you and like you and kind of help push to work with you, especially if it's the same offer. So yeah, so it's super important to network with realtors and with your clients, and just all around put yourself out there. You're your walking office. You're a walking business.
And I feel that most, if not all, realtors, it's almost like a requirement, like one of those unwritten rules where you have to be a extrovert to be successful in real estate, because you really have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations when it comes to just going out there and meeting with random people. And I know a lot of introverts, and they say that's the most terrifying thing that they can do, and they prefer not to do it if they don't have to. So with extroverts, the opposite, of course, we really thrive in those environments, and we want to be in a room full of strangers so we can meet and talk with them. And with the mixers that I've been to these past couple of years, I've realized that a lot of the agents that are there, they're really eager to meet other agents. A lot of them, I would say 90% of them are newbies that are just started, so they kind of just want to get to know who else is doing what they do. But to your point, I feel that once you're an agent, whether you've been an agent for 5, 10, 20 years, yes, you're inevitably going to build your book of business and you're going to have business calling you based on your existing clients and referrals. But that shouldn't be a reason why you stop making an effort to meet other agents because of everything that you just mentioned. But I mean, it's almost like we're on a little island, right? We're kind of working for ourselves. We're entrepreneurs, but we should also take advantage of the experiences that others have had to where maybe we can avoid other pitfalls that are out there. As we know, times are changing, technology is changing, even the laws in real estate change quite often. So just because we haven't encountered a scenario or situation, maybe someone else that's an agent has, and we can learn from them. And I think that's, in my opinion, not just making acquaintances with other peers in the industry, but really learning from them. And I don't care if you've been in the business for 6 months or 1 year, there's always something that we can learn from based on the experience that they have.
I wholeheartedly agree, because in real estate, they teach you nothing in real estate school. It's definitely who you know. It's definitely, that's why it's important for you to connect with a team who has experience, to connect with other realtors from the start who are experienced, because how do you leverage that? When I first got started, my broker had 13 years in the business. And I would say, we have 13 years in the business, because I got to hear her stories. I felt confident with whichever client I had coming next that, hey, my broker has been through something or something of this kind. And if not, we have somebody else who's been in the industry for over 50 years. So it's all about experiences. You're absolutely right. And I will say, though, on your extrovert comment, you can still be an introvert and be very successful at this business. You just have to find what works for you. Because I would say I'm an introvert extrovert. I sometimes like to crawl into my little hole, and I like to be all bundled up with my technology, with my computer. You can talk to people online. You don't got to go different places. You don't got to show up, show face, get ready. And you can share anonymously online, like on Twitter, and just be this brainiac online and attract so many people. Like, have you heard of the strip mall guy?
No, I haven't heard of the strip
Okay,
mall
well, I
guy.
just gave the strip mall guy a shout out because I love his Twitter or Twitter X account. And it's a character. It's not even his real face. Not once. Nobody even knows who this man is. And he has like the largest following out there on Twitter X about strip mall centers for commercial real estate. Super brilliant, man. Like, it's so funny. He hosted an event and everyone was trying to figure out who he was. He has a cartoon. So it's like Finding Waldo. And he talks about he's a super introverted. He just found something that works for him. So,
okay. So with that being said, and one thing I want to touch on now is to transition over to something that aligns with both agents and non-agents, which is marketing, right? Because of course, if you want to be successful in real estate as an agent, you have to figure out how to market yourself successfully. And then if you are on the other side of the spectrum and you're looking to either purchase a home or you're looking to sell a home, the marketing itself plays a huge role as well. So Ashley, with your tenure here in real estate, what are some of your skill sets or your history in working with different marketing strategies or even any initiatives or ventures that you've launched?
So I will say marketing is a whole other animal. And marketing, and this kind of goes back to why you have to love what you do and understand who you are so you don't make it so difficult. With marketing, it's way easier for you to market yourself if you understand and know what you like to do. Like I mentioned before, I love volleyball and I coach my daughter's volleyball team. Guess what? This little shirt here is marketing. That's marketing. It's putting a brand out there, and I'm walking around where I like to go, the places I like to go. You like to be out at Home Depot, take some business cards with you. Market, person to person marketing. A lot of people get scared of the technology side of it, and you shouldn't be scared of it, but I'm biased because I love technology and I feel it's like the easiest thing in the world. You know this, I love AI. So my AI boyfriend will be here soon. I'm just kidding. But even with AI, don't be scared of it. It will help your process with marketing. And if you know who you are, I would just say marketing, it just goes back to who you are, especially in this industry. And being a business owner, entrepreneur, it forces you to get to know who you are because you don't have that boss. You don't have that boss's brand that you have to live up to. You don't have to follow what they're telling you to do. You get to market yourself how you want to market yourself. I know some people who love cars. They started a cars and coffee shop talk where every week they'll have coffee and car talk and everybody come together and bring their cars. So again, it's what do you love to do? And then focus on marketing yourself within the things you love to do, because it will come off authentic. It'll come off real, and it's not going to be so difficult. You'll have a great time speaking to people or businesses who enjoy the same things and align with what you like.
Yeah, absolutely. And the great thing about Ashley and I is we're part of a team here with our brokerage that has a little bit over 2,000 agents who solely focus on one of the leading strategies to being successful, which is social media marketing. Now, when I say successful, I mean it flowing to our clients, because if they have success in selling their home or purchasing the home that they want, that's where we equally are successful. So with 2024, all the technology that's available, it's really important for us as agents to know how exactly to leverage social media marketing, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook. Any one of these platforms have a plethora of different sales tactics or marketing tactics that we can use to get more eyeballs on the listing, on the post, and to get more engagement throughout the whole relationship that we have with each viewer. So there's a lot to unpack with social media marketing, but that's really one of the questions, a leading question really, that you should be asking your agent when you're interviewing them is, walk me through all the different marketing that you plan on doing for my listing, or what marketing strategy do you have in place to ensure that we get this house sold with the least days on market. That's really the goal at the highest price, at the fair highest price.
Yeah, and it could be not just what is your marketing strategy, but what's your reach? What kind of reach do you have? Because they can tell you they're posting to YouTube and TikTok and this and that, but if one person is watching the video, hey, at least they posted and they told you where they were going to post it. So just make sure to understand what their reach is. And it's okay if they're just getting started too, because you can leverage, as long as they're backed by a team who has that marketing leverage, because maybe they're just getting their name put out there, and hey, help out that new agent. And maybe your cousin who's that new agent, help them out, but make sure they're with the team who has that social media reach. And yeah, like Hugo said, we're part of a really large team organization within our brokerage here, and our brokerage is global. That means every listing that we receive or anything that, we're trying to sell or working towards selling, guess what? It gets global exposure. So it's super huge for realtors who are just getting into the business and for clients who are looking to sell. All right, so now that everybody knows that we're hosting this Blueprint podcast and they know why we chose this podcast, let's talk a little bit about what our goals are, Hugo, for this podcast. So specifically, in the beginning, we kind of did a quick overview, but let's get a little bit more specific. How do you envision, because we got to talk to our community. So what is the goal for our community through this podcast?
Okay, so my goal for this podcast for the community is to become a better podcaster. So this is my first podcast that I've been hosting and being a part of. It's a great experience, but like anything that's new, I got to give myself the time. But more importantly than me becoming a better podcast host is allowing each of you to really get the value each session based on certain topics related to real estate that you may be interested in. For example, market trends. That's something that I actively search online for, whether it's other YouTubers or other online resources or the brokerage that I'm with, internal websites. I'm always seeking out information because I want to have my finger on the pulse when it comes to the market trends, the analysis, the interest rates, the fluctuation of them. I remember before I was a real estate agent, I was always doing the same, but instead I was looking for tips and best practices in buying my first home. And then when I sold that home, I wanted to get best practices and tips on selling or avoiding pitfalls in that process. So there's a lot of things that Ashley and I can focus on that can help each of you based on the topic that we choose. For example, I know, Ashley, you have a lot of experience with real estate investing. So that's something that we're really going to lean on you to kind of share with us. What can we do to look for, or what can we do and what can we look for to make really great investment decisions related to real estate?
That's awesome. And you took initiative. You did all your research for buying a home. That I'm sure is a little bit of a reason why you wanted to get into real estate as well, right? Was your realtor good?
He may be watching this, so I'm going to say yes. It was great.
Okay, but we know you're a leader at heart, especially doing business consulting. You're a leader at heart. You train people, and it's a role it's a new role you had to take on, training people in that world. And now we're here to train people in our podcast real estate world. We're here to take on this leadership and to build that community, to be a leader for you guys, because even though we're just here recording, it takes a lot. It takes a lot to set that time to sit here and give valuable information. It takes a lot. So we're super excited to, be the leaders for you here and this real estate community, and just well-rounded all around topics. So let's talk a little bit about with the goals of our podcast on another subject here. Some tools. So in listening to our podcast, what are some tools I feel, hold on, I'm going to say my part first. So some tools that I want you guys to walk away with within the community here are going to be action steps. I want you guys, will provide different tools and resources for you, but my main thing for the community is for you to actually walking away with something to do. So after each podcast, we may have homework, may not have homework. It's up to you, however you take it. But I want you to say, hey, I listened to Ashley and Hugo today. This is what I'm going to do. If you're a real estate agent, I'm going to talk to one person. If you're looking to buy a home, I'm going to call this realtor and ask this one specific question, add to your list of questions to ask. But we want to just bring you value and tools and be that resource. So that's our goal for the podcast. You got to learn a little bit about Hugo and I. And like Hugo said before, throughout the podcast, throughout the different, how do I say it? I will say different channels. Throughout the different episodes, you'll get to learn a little bit more in detail. We don't want to bore you with exactly who we are because it's just going to come out with our stories. And you'll get to know us on a bit more personal level the more you show up here. But also don't be scared to give your feedback. I feel I personally grow so much from feedback. I love constructive criticism. You know, any feedback, good or bad, if you're like, Ashley keeps drinking her damn cup too much, tell her to stop. Whatever it is, it's feedback, questions you want to learn. Maybe like Hugo said, we'll touch on real estate investing. If you want to learn how to find that money for real estate investing, if you want to learn how to find that property, how to know if it's a good property, leave your questions. We are open to receiving, and our intentions are to help you guys out.
Yeah, there's a saying that I can't remember who said it, but breakfast of champions is feedback. That's what champions eat every single day, because of course you can't start your day and make changes if you don't know what to change. And of course there's a lot of feedback that we can get. We just have to be cautious and mindful who we're receiving that feedback from, because of course I think it was Lady Gaga said social media is like the toilet of the internet, right? So everyone has their opinions out there, so we have to be careful what feedback we take in. But we really, first of all, appreciate each of you that are joining to this episode and to any episode. So any feedback you all have, we'll definitely take action and stay engaged.
Yep. So we're excited. And thank you for joining us for our very first episode. Woo-hoo! Be ready for next week's episode. It's going to be good. And yeah.
So again, just to kind of recap what we mentioned at the very beginning, each Tuesday we're going to publish a client-focused episode that's going to focus on different tips, topics, best practices related to real estate, either if you're purchasing a home or if you're selling your home. And on Thursday, we'll publish a real estate agent focused session that's going to focus on how to be successful in 2024 and different strategies to implement to either find new clients or build their existing relationships.
Amen. Good job. Yep. We're here for you guys. So come back. Next episode, we'll have a slogan. I happen to look for my slogan.
All right, everyone. Thank you. Have a great one.
Bye, y'all.